If somehow, in some, I don't know, in some incredible survival move, Boris Johnson had somehow managed to survive, let's say those scandals hadn't happened that were eventually sort of took him out, but Boris Johnson was still in charge. He was in charge now. There was an upcoming budget. We're into all this recession. There is no way whatsoever would Boris Johnson be able to keep his 2019 coalition of those red wall voters and those blue wall voters down in the south linked in arms together. Johnson could not do it because he made the big promises in 2019 to bring everyone together, and Johnson sold it on the pure strength of his charisma and his ability to tell a story. And the thing is, given this, well, the type of environment we are in, there is no way Johnson could get out of this. It wouldn't matter if he were to tell this fantastic story because he might only be able to keep the red wall. The blue wall, however, would certainly fall to the Lib Dems. But if he appealed to the blue wall, he would lose the red wall and that would go back to Labour. There is no way he could do it. But what's interesting in this new think tank piece, which we'll be looking at the moment, is that Rishi Sunak faces an even harder challenge because not only are his policies and his budget not going to be able to keep the red wall, but the blue wall as well, because there are significant political, ideological challenges between the red wall and the blue wall, and the MPs of those constituents are divided massively. We've talked about it before, about the deep chasms of divide between the Tory party. And oh boy, when this budget comes out, this could cause quite a lot of trouble for Sunak. Quite a lot of trouble indeed. So let's go diving into this. But before we do, let's please remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, well, buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help and support the channel that way. And of course, there's the YouTube thank you button, as well as the Pony Club down below as well. So, as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help and support the channel, even if you do just hit the like and share button. So, over we go today to The Guardian to have a look at this, because this is what I've been telling you for quite some time. So it's good to have some, a think tank that's looked into this and sort of confirmed what I've been telling you was going to be the case for quite some time now. So, like I say, it comes from The Guardian with the title of Rishi Sunak faces struggle to retain both, and this is the key thing, struggles to retain both red wall and blue wall voters. Rishi Sunak will struggle to retain support of both wings of the Conservative Party's 2019 coalition after the next week's autumn statement, with red wall and blue wall voters starkly divided over what they want on the economy and the cost of living. A report by the think tank More in Common reveals the Prime Minister is winning back blue wall voters who abandoned the Tories under Boris Johnson over Brexit and Partygate, with the same proportion of 45% as in 2019, now saying they would back the party, despite a 16-point swing against the Tories among the wider public. However, the research also found that the typical red wall voters had not warmed to his government. While 56% of this group backed the Tories in 2019, fewer than a third, just 32%, said they would do so today. And according to a poll by Public First for the report titled Sunak's Choice, the findings, which will even heighten the fears among some Tory MPs that Sunak is poorly placed to retain the red wall vote, means that for the first time since the 2017 election, Labour is ahead of the Tories among the group of voters with 41% support. While only 18% of blue wall voters said they would never vote Conservative, doubled from 36% in the red wall, they said they would never vote for Sunak's party. Sunak faces a far bigger challenge from the Lib Dems down in the blue wall, with 37% of voters saying that there was a reasonable chance they would back them, while 35% said the same about the Tories and 42% about Labour. So as you can see, this cobbled together coalition, this Frankenstein's coalition that Boris Johnson created, is falling to pieces rapidly, very, very quickly. But back to it. So, and of course, it all comes down to the budget, as we've said before. The difficulty for the Prime Minister's task next week is to underline by varying the expectations from the autumn statement. Those in the blue wall tend to be more supportive of spending cuts by about 46% to 39% than voters in the red wall, who believe there is no mandate. The majority of Britons want health, pensions, and education protected from cuts. However, red wall voters prefer spending cuts over 39% over tax rises, just 25%, as the best way to balance the books. Support for tax rises measures is significantly lower in the blue wall areas, but there is a relatively strong support across the UK for increased windfall taxes, income taxes on higher earners, and corporation taxes on business. Red wall voters want more help with the cost of living, with nearly 7 in 10 saying that there is too little being done. But those in the more traditional Tory areas disagree, with 58% saying there is either enough or too much. It is being done to help. The red wall voters blame the government for the cost of living crisis, while the blue wall do not. The support for increased benefits is higher in blue wall areas, where voters are more likely to say that they should rise in inflation at 38%, than the red wall voters at 35%. A majority of Britons, at least 51%, think that benefits should either only be increased in line with wages, 33%, or not increased at all, just at 18%, while 4 in 10 think that benefits should rise in line with inflation at about 40%. The significant numbers of red wall voters think that Sunak is out of touch with people like me at 58%. This puts the interest of rich people first at 55% and will do what is best for him rather than the country at 50%. In focus groups, his personal wealth continues to be raised as a reason that red wall voters do not think he can relate. So this is a massive problem for the Conservatives, because there's going to be a lot of red wall Tory MPs who are going to be panicking today. And they are certainly not looking forward to the budget, because they've got no idea. They've got no idea how they're going to sort of spin this to their constituents. Many of them know that the next general election, they've probably lost. And as I just said this morning on this morning walk, you've got a push to go that is building for a general election, and that some of these Tories who know that they might lose may just go for it out of sheer spite. So back to it. Luke Terrell, director of More in Common, said this: "The budget will define the Sunak premiership, and it's clear he has a choice to make. Does he continue to shore up support with the more traditional voters in the blue wall, who are flocking back to the party under his leadership? Or does he try and repair his standing with the red wall voters who aren't convinced he's in touch with their lives and struggles? Our polling find that these two groups want to hear quite different things from the Chancellor next week, and it's hard to see how the government keeps both sides of the Tory camp happy." And he can't. He absolutely cannot keep both sides of the Tory party happy. It is going to be there is going to be a lot of upset people on Thursday, I think. A lot of upset people. And this will radically split the party, making it even harder for Sunak to try and control. Because think about this, if you've got a bunch of red wall Tory MPs who are like, well, Sunak just lost me my seat. Why should they even respect Sunak's authority? Why should they start voting for him? You can just see the potential chaos that is about to unfold. And we are going to keep a very, very close eye on what happens, because Thursday, Friday, and certainly over the weekend is going to be very interesting to see the reaction of many Tory MPs. Not only just from Tory MPs, but the reaction to those seats that have Tory MPs. So, as always, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page and one off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And as always, we'll see you all next time.